Hello and welcome. I'm Paul Skeldon, Editor-in-Chief at Telemedia Magazine. I'm here at Telemedia Johannesburg in Johannesburg, and I'm joined by Lorato from Digital Virgo.
Yes.
Hi, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
For those that don't know, just tell us very briefly what Digital Virgo does.
Okay, so Digital Virgo is a service provider, content provider, as well as is involved in direct carrier billing, where we specialize in mobile payments as well and digital marketing. And this is where we come in very strongly, and we are partnered with several countries across the world.
And you're responsible, aren't you, for South Africa and Botswana?
That's correct. Yes.
We've talked a lot at the event here about the South African market and,
Yes.
and how it's referred to as being sort of evolving, but it's not
Yes.
really. It's quite well established.
Yes.
I'm interested in Botswana because
Yes.
that sort of lags behind a little bit, I think.
I agree, yes.
So what are things that are happening in the Botswanan market? What's it like from a content point of view, say?
So just to give you an overview of what's happening in Botswana is that we're seeing a slight gap between Botswana and South Africa in terms of how they're evolving. Botswana is giving a vibe of caution. They're very cautious, and they take time prior to implementing, proposed features or services. So in terms of content, we've got content that's currently relative to Botswana, but we are working on sourcing more content that is more relative to people in Botswana. In that regard, I'm specifying language, it needs to be relevant in that regard, as well as affordability, considering what the unemployment rate is currently in Botswana. So content-wise, we do have services such as video on demand, there's also gaming, and we recently are working on a service called Mega Win, which is like a betting-like service where it gives you the opportunity to win rewards, and so it's in terms of content, it's slowly getting to the point where we'd like to go, however, in a very slow pace.
Okay, is it similar kinds of content? Is it the same sort of theme, or do they like very different content?
No, it's actually very similar to South Africa. It's just that in terms of actually getting it to where we'd like to, it just takes a little bit of time because we need to, as mentioned, source content that is specifically relative to Botswana, because we cannot assume that what works for South Africa will work in Botswana. But there is a vast of services that are available, and Botswana is actually open to, receiving them and applying them. It's just a matter of educating them in a way that it can benefit both parties, Botswana, the consumers, merchants in place, as well as the operators.
What about from a payments point of view? How do Botswanans pay for content? Is it
pay for content? So it's very similar to South Africa, right? Where they pay via airtime, as well as they've got
through direct carrier billing?
Yes, through direct carrier billing, and we're seeing quite a positive success rate in that regard. And the only thing that I could mention is in terms of the flows, we really want to come in strongly with HE. A lot of partners or consumers are coming through Wi-Fi, and that just slows down the process of being able to capture their details and allow them to pay via airtime, because with Wi-Fi it's MSISD and OTP, and then you have to confirm. So hence I'm saying the gap is like not so much between Botswana and South Africa, because they're also using airtime, but we also want to maximize on the apps that they have currently as operators, for example, like Orange and Mescom, where we can have multiple apps available on their service portal, and they can be able to maybe purchase, or they can get bundled services on the app, and in that way we can also market our services. And it's just simple to just recharge that balance on the app itself and then purchase through that or subscribe through that.
Okay.
So that's currently a work in progress. That's what we're working on in terms of
what about wallets? Is there much wallet use or things like M-Pesa, anything like that's operating?
Honestly speaking, not as much. I've touched base with Botswana regarding that, but it's not. I think it comes in really strong in Kenya, in Tanzania, I think even Ghana or Nigeria.
Yeah.
But in Botswana
Ethiopia.
and Ethiopia. So, but not so much in in Botswana. I think it's also similar to South Africa, where we're a little bit cautious, and not even cautious. Sometimes we have access to these apps that allow us to do transactions freely without having to go on wallets and mobile payments. But this is something we're trying to obviously enforce in the long run, because we're already doing it across other countries in Europe, in the Middle East, and it would be really nice to kind of bring in the same adaptation to South Africa and Botswana.
What's the regulatory environment like in Botswana? Obviously you've got WASPA here in South Africa. What's it like there in Botswana?
So we have some tools that are available to monitor, but they're very limited compared to what we have. So in South Africa, we have a vast of tools that we can use to monitor in terms of regulations. There's WASPA, and there's anti-fraud tools that are in place. But in Botswana, we actually have to do benchmarking to see what's happening. But we do also have customer care that will tell us, we have complaints from these customers, please maybe unsubscribe or whatever, manage services, but nothing specific in terms of a tool that we can access that stipulates the regulations. The best regulations or the most regulations we get from Botswana is from the operator just stipulating, apply this or that, these are the guidelines.
It sounds like an interesting market, and I guess one to watch.
Yeah. Yes.
Do you think it'll become as established as South Africa in time?
I think if we give it a couple of years, yes. I think people in Botswana are actually smart, but I think we really need to visit Botswana very often in a way that we can educate and implement these services and actually show the positive side to it.
And finally, while we're here, how have you found the event here in Johannesburg? Has it been good?
It's been spectacular. To be honest, this is my first telemedia event. It's been nerve-wracking, but I think I like it. I love the networking, getting to understand what other industries are doing and how we can work together is very unique. I'm very excited, and I'm looking forward to coming often and next year.
Well, we look forward to it. So anyway, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you for having me, Paul.
It's a pleasure to interview you. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Goodbye.